Ready? Call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mary, second by Roy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, agenda is approved. Move on to approval of the consent calendar, which includes the payments of bills and the minutes from last meeting.
So second.
A motion from Doug, second from Roy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on to number 4. Consider second reading and adoption of ordinance 545, amending chapter 103, articles 3 and 4 of the buildings and building regulations.
In your packet is ordinance 545. I had Tara actually underline the new language that we're proposing to be put in there, just so everybody is clear on what has been in there and the new language that we're putting. Top one is basically building maintenance code enforcement. Bottom one is rental housing code. So basically another tool up to the $250 fine, and so recommendation from myself, our building inspector, and our city attorney that be in there. It's pretty common for communities to have that. So.
I move its adoption.
Motion by Roy,
Second.
seconded by John. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a couple questions. One is, okay, so if you issue an administrative penalty, that's administrative citation, is that correct?
Well, I think administrative penalty, administrative fine, citation, kind of all are together, same type of deal.
So I guess I'm just not clear on how that all happens. From back in law enforcement days, if somebody violated something, you issue them when we did the administrative penalties or administrative, we issued them a citation. And if the person doesn't comply with that, what is the next step then, or is that an issue to ticket or a complaint?
Right, so with the administrative citation, they would be basically issued a notice. You're being, typically it'll be, you have a certain amount of time to, fix the issue. Otherwise, you'll be issued an administrative penalty. And they can pay that. Doesn't mean they don't have to do the work, but administratively would also have the ability to not impose it. If it's somebody who does it right away, you get this done by the end of the week, we'll not impose the penalty. It doesn't mean that if they don't do it, they can't still end up in the section up above that where it's a misdemeanor and ends up more in the legal realm. The city of Brainerd, for example, basically put together a one-pager for this, type of thing that they had posted on their website and sent out. You know, basically that the administrative citation process is being put in place to address infractions of a civil nature defined in the city code. Courts are overloaded. You know, courts aren't always the best place to, you know, deal with a lot of these types of issues. But they would, you know, everybody would get basically an order to correct whatever it is, outlining the violations, giving them a timeline. If they don't do that, then the citation would be issued.
Mean like a incentive like the court, or?
Nope, not initially. You know, it's basically administrative within the city. It says, you know, if you receive a citation, you may correct the violation and pay the fine. If you decide to contest the violation, you know, there's a process laid out, you know, where they can contest that. But if, you know, if there's still no compliance, you know, we still have the ability to kick it to the city attorney and you know, pursue correction in the court. And right now, that's the only remedy.
So is there a
the
time period
court.
laid out for, I mean, I don't know, if, you know, if you're issued this, order or whatever it would be, is there a time period that we have some kind of criteria that, you know, so it doesn't go on forever, or could go on forever, or I mean, it, you know, I mean, like, say for instance, you're told you got a paint job, and you don't do it, and then this, I'm assuming this would trigger this citation or administrative penalty or whatever, and then you're notified that this administrative penalty is in play, and that are they then told they got 30 days, 60 days? Or, I mean, you know.
Well, you would basically get the notice, and if you don't comply with that notice, then the citation would come into play.
Does the notice have a specific date? Does
It
have-
would, yeah, it would have. And it depends, you know, there's not a, you know, it's not a 7-day or 10-day or what, you know, it's no different than the nuisance stuff, you know, depending on what it is. You know, if somebody has to you know, paint their whole house, you know, they're gonna get more time to do that than if they, you know, have to pick up 2 bags of garbage and a tire back next to the garage.
So, and the enforcing body of this is gonna be our building inspector?
The inspector, yeah.
Okay, so he, as he travels around town, he sees, and that only applies to maintenance of structures? What we're dealing with here tonight is basically rental housing, ordinance and building maintenance code. You know, it's no different, you know, back, you know, Pam Swanson used to do building maintenance code inspection, and enforcement, and would order certain types of work to be done. I think that kind of, well, whatever. So it only applies to rentals, right? Not privately owned homes, or does that apply to privately owned homes?
Two different sections to the ordinance. The top portion is basically amending and adding that language to the building maintenance code section of the city code. The bottom part is adding that to the rental housing section of the city code. So it's basically, it's a tool that will be added to both of those with the same goal. You know, it's basically to get, you know, properties cleaned up and maintained.
How does Scott get paid, for his, how does he get paid? 'Cause didn't you say that he doesn't get anything?
He doesn't get the fine. They do a straight up hourly, you know, like for the rental housing stuff, it's $45 an hour. So,
I guess, you know, and, well, yeah. I guess it just seems kind of open-ended and not very definitive to me that how it's going to be, how the process is gonna come through and actually move along and be beneficial. It seems more like a veiled threat tactic that hopefully it works. You know what I'm saying? I've had plenty of experience with laws. And
No, I understand that, but I think you know, the thing that everybody needs to be aware of, the alternative is what's stated above there. You know, you'll be, wherever I put my copy. The alternative right now is upon conviction thereof, be guilty of a misdemeanor and subject to a fine or imprisonment as prescribed by state law. That seems a lot more, you know, imposing than an administrative citation.
Yeah. The only thing was, as far as with administrative citations, when I know when we did them as police, the administrative citation, we had a 3-panel board that heard you know, you had to have a hearing. If somebody didn't agree with it, you had to have a hearing. And I don't know if we still got that board that has the hearings on the administrative citation side of it, or?
I believe it's a hearing officer would be appointed. So that, I don't know if I printed off the whole thing. But, yeah, there's an appeal process for it, so. But, and they have the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to participate in the administrative penalty deal and go the, you know, misdemeanor, you know, citation route.
So do we have a hearing officer, or is that set up? Or?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
But that, you know, that basically is the process. So it's, you know, like I say, you know, Perham has it, Wadena, Little Falls, Brainerd, you know, all kinds of places use this for rental, building maintenance, code nuisance, you know.
Is this basically somebody else's language, or is something we devised?
It came from our city attorney, so I can't answer that if he created that on his own or, you know. Most of the ordinances that you see are kind of boilerplate league, you know, recommended type stuff, so. But, so like I say, it's another tool in the toolbox to try to get compliance on a lot of this stuff. It's not, you know, a heavy-handed, you know, type of deal. We just want to get stuff cleaned up.
I have a motion and a second. We had some discussion. Any further thoughts or discussion at all? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried. Move on to number 5. Consider scheduling public hearing for the 2024 through 2028 capital improvement plan.
So, we've got 2 meetings in August. We can pick either one. You know, I would say, you know, let's probably go ahead and shoot for the first meeting in August for that.
Sounds good to me. Need a consensus?
Does that work? Yeah, if you want to actually vote on it.
Okay.
That's the date of that meeting.
You will not be here.
That's the 8th? I'm okay.
Yep, August 8th.
So we would need someone to
Make a motion,
make a motion for that date then?
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Mary, second by John to schedule a public hearing for the 2024 through 2020 capital improvement plan for August 8th, which would be our first council meeting in August. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll go ahead and schedule for that day then. Six, consider scheduling the 2024 preliminary budget work session.
So we've done this for, for a number of years, on a non-council meeting, time kind of over lunch, whatever, for a couple hours. And just to, we'll come in kind of with a preliminary budget, go through it, get input from council. Kind of a first step ahead of the preliminary budget being set and preliminary tax levy being set in September. So, and I was, kind of looking at calendar, sometime maybe the week of the 14th of August, kind of between the two council meetings. Do like noon to 2 type of thing.
Potentially need to be gone that day.
Which, what day?
That week.
14th you're talking about?
Oh, the week of.
The week of.
So we could do it,
Oh, the week of the 14th.
yeah, maybe the 16th, 17th,
Those
somewhere
would
in there.
work for me, yeah.
Anybody have a conflict in either of those days? Just pick one, say the 17th at noon.
I'm out of town.
Are you out of town all week?
How about the 16th?
I could do the 16th, but the
16th?
17th and 18th I'm gone to
I can do the 16th.
Okay.
the meetings.
Do
Is
that?
everybody okay with the 16th at noon, you say?
Yep. Yeah, we'll get some lunch and
Would we go noon to 2? Sound okay with everybody? All right.
okay. Should check, are you gonna be here? It's like he didn't ask me beforehand. All right, we'll do that.
All right. I guess we'll move on to committee reports. We have one tonight, Public Works Commission.
We had a fairly lengthy discussion regarding if we decide to add generation, also about some of the other projects. We're right in the middle of a rate study. We're due to have our final meeting soon, so we did decide to postpone the rate study meeting until we've got the feasibility study done regarding generation. So that will help us determine whether we want to go forward or not, because it'll impact the rates. So we had a good discussion on that, and that kind of discussion will continue until we come with a decision. Talked a little bit about lead service line project. Be coming up with several ways we have to inventory each service line that comes into every building in our water service territory. So we've got several ways that we'll try to get that accomplished by October of 2024. Gerald and I Gerald and Melissa went to the Wadena County Board meeting to present a project in the industrial park that would extend the water and sewer mains on the east and west ends. That would, on the north side of the industrial park, there's lots on a map. They're plotted off, and through the ARPA, there was money available to do water and sewer infrastructure projects. So they presented that to Wadena County and they approved it. So we did talk about that plan a little bit. Extending the electric will also be included in that. And then we have interviews for our open water and sewer position that will take place on Thursday afternoon. I was pleasantly surprised with the number and quality of the candidates that we got. So we're going to interview 3 people. We had a list of 4, but one backed out because he didn't want to leave his current employer in this time of year. So but we felt good with the 3 that we have, so we stuck with the 3. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
You also said that we have taken over the Voyager building too.
Yes, yep, that's correct. If you remember, we traded, we did a little bit of service territory swap, and so then we could take Voyager over in July, and we did that on July 5th. In about a half an hour, Todd Wadena was out and we were in, and they're our customer now. So if there's any other questions, otherwise that's all I have.
Any questions? Thanks, Scott. Move on to open forum.
Yeah, I have a question. We were just talking about the building inspector, that's Scott Sadusky. And so then I looked in the list of bills, we have $63,000 we're paying to Sadusky renovations. Is that the same guy, and what is that for?
That's a quarterly payment for building permit, plan review, and, basically fees.
So he only gets paid quarterly, or?
We pay him quarterly,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a ton of activity happening now. I mean,
Yes.
it's a
Yeah,
double-sided page and a half of another one of all the,
yeah, and lots of big projects, you've got the 2 school projects, the plaza, the tail end of the plaza is on there still, the railroad building, we'll see, the Ives projects, the Accenture project, and Farmers Union, anticipate all that to come on yet this year, so. It's busy. It's got the inspector busy and our lake department busy.
I do have a question, Gerald. I think I asked you this earlier, but, that grass just on the south side of the railroad tracks, where the fence is, that's railroad property? Over here where they're building that building, they got that fence along there, but there's like 6 feet of grass there. Somebody that asked me if that was railroad property because the city was mowing it.
I'd have to look and see exactly where,
You might know, Scott.
Yeah, we do mow some of the railroad property, otherwise it takes a long time to get done.
Yeah, I was just, somebody asked. I don't know where the railroad property is.
Yeah, I worked in it, we did the same thing,
Just
they're just not gonna get to it. So it's a kind of a beautification thing.
you're talking outside their fence on the south side?
It's right along the road, because
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like right on the sidewalk. And it's not a very big strip, it's just, I think that's true.
I'd like to comment on, you might bring this up in your report, I don't know, but I was able to attend the July 4th celebration that we had in town. I haven't been to one since they started doing them. I usually am out of town or whatever, but, and it rained, so it had to be in Faith Lutheran, but it was really a nice program. It was well put together, had excellent music, good speaker, had food. It was just a really nice community event. And I'm assuming that that's sort of how, I don't know how long they've been doing that.
Oh, it's been, years that they've been doing Memorial Day, 4th of July, and then Veterans Day programs at the park.
So it's been at other locations, but now that we're at the vet park, it's sort of been put
Well,
there.
I think they've only been doing that since the park
Yeah,
was in
okay.
place.
Right, okay. But anyways, I was able to attend that, and it was just really a nice thing for our community to have that sort of a celebration on the 4th of July, because there's always conflicts, there's always city festivals, and everybody has a 4th of July celebration, it seems like, but it's nice to have that. It wasn't large, it wasn't you know, I don't know how long it took actually to do the whole thing, but it was just a nice gathering, so I just wanted to comment on that. So,
And well attended too.
it was well attended, yeah.
There were, at the end, they had a picture of all the vets. And I would say over half of the attendees were the vets. That was, yeah, it was a wonderful service.
Yeah.
I think I heard a little over 200 dilly bars.
Yeah,
That's how you track attendance.
There you go.
that's how you count people.
Yeah.
That's good. So that's all I have to say.
And donated by the Dairy Queen too. So there was a lot of community
Yeah.
support to that too, which
Right.
is really great.
No. All right, we'll move on to city administrator's report.
Few things, reminder, I think everybody got emails, July 24th at 2 o'clock. There's gonna be a tour out at Stern Rubber. So if you haven't and wanna respond to that, reply to Melissa, just so they have an idea how many people are gonna show up. Got communication from Bruce Drone today, that he is resigning from planning and zoning and also the Board of Adjustment. So, we'll need to get some ads out and solicit volunteers for that. We talked a little bit about CIP, but again, if you're looking through the CIP, have any questions at all, ideas, whatever, give me a call. And we can talk about it at our next meeting ahead of the public hearing. As you probably concluded from the budget work session, work is underway on 2024 budget, and we'll, like I said, have a preliminary for you in the middle of August when we get together. I did have Voyager Industries, just wanted to compliment our crews and Todd Wadena, you know, very professional in that process that they did out there. They tinker a little bit with electrical work, but not with that kind of cord size. So it was interesting. I actually ran out there and watched them do the conversion. So they did a nice job. Labor agreements. We've received notice from all three of our unions of intent to negotiate, and I would imagine we'll be starting that process coming up here, I would guess, in August. With,
Didn't we just do that yesterday?
it seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, sure does.
A couple years go by quick, so, but we'll, you know, start with some proposals back and forth and then start meeting. And just to follow up from a couple of meetings ago, we did do some soil samples on some of the downtown tree grates, a couple that have live trees, a couple with dead trees, try and figure out if there's any soil deficiencies or things in the soil that shouldn't be that are causing issues. And we'll keep the council posted as soon as we find somebody that can interpret the results. And then I did have Veterans Park, 4th of July down. You know, just wanted to compliment that group of volunteers that puts on those events. I know it's a lot of hours and dedication that goes into putting those types of things together for the benefit of the community. So I want to thank them. That is all I have, unless there's questions.
I move that we adjourn.
Do you second it? Motion by Roy, second by Doug to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, meeting adjourned.